You're watching Play Replay with Async. Now today I wanted to talk about my top 5, I guess Async's top 5, not very popular 80s horror movies. I say that because at the time, I mean today they might be somewhat more popular, but at the time when they came out, they were not like hits. So I'm just saying that to cover my ass right now because, someone's going to say, oh no, they're very popular now. No. I'm saying back when I was a kid, when I was young, these movies were not very popular. So let's get to it. Okay, the first one on my list, I'm just going to go by years. I believe these years are accurate. Maybe they're not. I don't know. But the movie The Stuff. A lot of people, I never hear a lot of people talk about this movie. And it's one of my favorite, it feels like a B movie, but it's just a great, 80s, it's kind of a horror movie. It's just cool. And that is the movie The Stuff. And it's got these little, it's like a chemical that comes up out of the earth that's all white and stuff. And it basically gets packaged. Basically, somebody tastes it in the snow or whatever in the wintertime at the beginning. And they go, and then and then you see fast forward into the day when it's actually being marketed in a store as it looks like I don't know, it's like whipped cream or something, but everybody wants it, and it comes in this little container, has a catchy 80s theme song, and it has a cool little way of writing, the name, The Stuff, Anyway, it's got a great marketing strategy behind it in the movie. But then you get this investigator guy that goes and finds out about it, and he finds out that the stuff is alive. And it's literally getting people to force it on other people, and they want to go and, get more people. It's kind of like smart zombies, I guess. They're intelligent enough to tell their kid, hey, you need to eat this. You need to have some. You better eat your stuff right now. Otherwise, you're going to go up to your room, you're grounded, that type of thing or whatever, because it's basically controlling them in a sense. But it's a great scary, it's not really scary. It's got not the best special effects and all that, but the story, I think, if they remade it today without wokeness and all this agenda, it might be good. The special effects probably would be better, but this movie has a great story. That's the reason why I like it. I've always loved this movie. So, and this is came out in, 1985. So it came out right around the time Back to the Future and all that, But yeah, this is a good movie. So that's my number 1. I just love that movie. And number 2 is Return of the Living Dead. The first Return of the Living Dead. I know there's other ones, but the first one is my favorite one. The other ones I don't really remember that much, and it seems like I didn't really care enough, apparently. But anyway, this one's great. Well, it's like a hard R movie because there's nudity, everything in this movie. And this came out in 1985 as well. But this is, it's just like Night of the Living Dead Part 2, basically. And it's just got so much cool stuff. It's got this creature that's in this container that gets out, and they actually address the Night of the Living Dead as if that was a real thing in the movie, like that happened. And they're like, there's a guy that actually is like, that really happened. It's kind of cool how they're aware of the original movie and all that was based on a true story and all this in that movie. It's just so cool how they did that. It's a smart way to write this. And of course, it's got some comedy type of stuff, like zombies that say, send more brains. Like when the ambulance drivers come, they eat them and kill them or whatever. And then, of course, they get on the radio, send more brains. Anyway, but there's some cool elements to the story, and it's not super realistic and not the greatest. This movie wasn't super popular when it came out, and it wasn't a big deal. But today, I think it's one of those movies that it's got a cult following, I guess. So yeah, I would say watch A Return of the Living Dead. It's a great movie. And number 3 for me is Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps is a freaking awesome movie. Now, if you ever seen James Gunn's Slither, then that's basically copying this movie. Slither is a little different, but it's basically where the idea came from, I believe, because it has these little black slugs that go right into your mouth and basically turn you into a zombie. And that's what this is about. And you don't really see it on the artwork, on the cover of the movie or anything. Any of the slug stuff, you don't get that. So you just think, oh, it's just another stupid college zombie movie type of thing. But it's not. It's actually not. It's very cool how they do this. And once again, it's these alien creatures, and they take control of you by going inside. And of course, there's some awesome stuff. There's like a cop or whatever, and there's some cool catch lines like, it's Miller time, and he shoots the zombie. Anyway, and it's like, your dates have arrived or whatever, and he's like, but the good thing is your dates have arrived. The bad thing is they're dead, and there's like these cool little lines that this guy is great. And I think this is the same. This is like a popular 80s actor. He wasn't popular, but he was in a couple of things in the 80s. I recognized him from that. So he's just a great actor. I just love him in these roles. So yeah, you should check out Night of the Creeps. It's a great movie, and I'm sure if you like a lot of these like side movies or B movies from the 80s or whatever, this one's probably a pretty good one for just sitting down and watching. I think some of these you could find on like Tubi TV and stuff too, that you can watch them for free. Don't quote me on that, because there's always stuff changing on there, but just search where you can find some of these. Some of these I imagine you have to rent or whatever, because unfortunately streaming services don't like to have all the movies. So the next one is The Gate. The Gate is an interesting movie. It came out in 1987. The Gate is like a hole, I guess you would say, into hell, maybe, that comes, basically a hole in the yard that ends up growing kind of bigger or whatever, and things start coming through. But I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'm not going to spoil it and everything. There's just some cool things that happen in this movie. And for 1987, I think the special effects are awesome in this movie. There's like this claymation monsters in this movie, and eventually one giant claymation monster. But these little monsters, they're claymation, but they move so well with the actual actors and all the stuff. I just think it's whoever did the claymation to make these things look real. They're just awesome. It's very cool how they did this. But these things come out of this gate, whatever, hole, whatever, anyway, and all this weird stuff starts happening to this kid and his buddy or whatever. And this movie is just, I just think it's so cool how they do all this stuff, and the special effects just look so good for an 80s movie. So I'm not going to get into all the details of the movie, because it's been a while since I watched it, so I don't want to misquote things that happen in it. But I just remember the last time I did watch it was like a couple years ago. Anyway, and this movie just has the claymation. I was floored even then when I watched it. I was like, God, the special effects for this movie, they did a great job. So that's why I put this on my list, because this is a must-see. And I don't know where it's playing on what I don't know if maybe you can buy it off of Amazon or something. I don't know, a DVD or something. Anyway, it's a great movie, and it's well worth the watch if you like these old-fashioned monster horror movies from the 80s. So yeah, The Gate is awesome. The next one is, and my final one on the list, number 5, is The Blob, and not the old 50s one, the 1988 Blob. That movie was awesome. I saw that, and I think I seen this one in the theater. I just love this movie. It's very scary. It's very twisted how things happen in this movie. This thing is creepy, and it basically keeps the whole thing the same as the 50s movie, only updates the special effects to look more gruesome and like more realistic. And I just love this. I think this movie is a great horror movie, because The Blob, I mean, it's like this thing, this gooey, like acidy inside. It's just messed up. And there is one part that I hated in this movie because I'm just not a gory person, but it's just messed up to think about. And that is where somebody reaches down the drain. I mean, the old fashioned, something's down there, and it literally just breaks this person in pieces and pulls them down the sink pipe. Oh, that's so messed up. But that part, when I was younger, when I watched this, and by the way, I was watching these as a kid, and I shouldn't have probably, but whatever. I survived. The 80s was a hell of a time. So, but yeah, this movie was just messed up. When I was watching this as a kid, I mean, this is just creepy stuff. But yeah, The Blob, it's just something you should see this movie. It's a very good movie, and I don't know why it wasn't very popular at the time, because I think this movie was very well done. So today, I think this movie does better, and a lot of people like this. I think it has a cult following, like most of these movies. But yeah, I would say to see the movie The Blob, and that is the 1988 movie of The Blob, not the 50s one, because that's just kind of corny, or that's not really the best as far as I'm concerned. This one basically covers what happened in that movie and makes it more realistic. So yeah, that's my top 5 of movies that weren't so popular in the 80s that became kind of a cult following today, I guess. And these are just the ones I like. So this is just my opinion. Hopefully these movies are something that you're into or whatever. I would just say to rent them or watch them on something, a streaming service or whatever, if you can find them. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So tell me what you think in the comment section below, and like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.